So, up on Blackboard, people, um, let's see, on Blackboard under Revit families, okay, under mechanical plumbing equipment, you'll find that roof drain assembly family that I put up there for you, okay? I'm going to insert mine, and I'm going to go to where I need to on my computer to get it. Let's see, where is there's my documents. And then here is 259. And in 259 under 2020, I've got my roof drain overflow. Now this is a face-based type of family. What do I mean when I say that? Well, we'll give it a second. It's updating from 15 to 20. And now when I go over here to architecture and component, place a component, hopefully that's the next component. And you see how it's wanting to go sideways right now. Well, why is that? Well, if you look up here, it's defaulting to place on a vertical face. I want to place on a face. And so now you see there's my roof drains, right? And I want to place them right with this low spot. So what I'm going to do is align that there, and then I'm going to say align to here, that. Okay? That's what I'm going to do. And first thing I'm going to do, first things first, I'm going to look in this section. There's my roof drain. Now look at this. When I look at them, do you see this little raised area in the second one? That's the overflow. That's the standpipe, people. And you see at the bottom, there's outlets, right? Where I could hook up pipe. Well, we're not going to hook up the pipe or run the pipe or anything. That's another class, okay? We're just placing these, and we're going to place the roof, we're going to place this to the inside, because then this one will catch the water coming from the side first, which is what we want, okay? So now that I know it's in there right, I can go back to the roof plan, and I can click on there, and I can say copy multiple, one from here to there, right? All right, so there's that one. And then I need one right there, right? So I can say copy this one from this datum here to that datum here. And then the last one, I can just say, I'm going to copy this from here, and I'm going to put it approximately right there for the moment. Then I'm going to scroll in, and I'm going to just kind of hold down my shift key and my up arrow and approximately place it right there. Doesn't need to be perfect, just showing that we have some roof drains out there. And that's approximately where we put them. People, roof drains and the way they're sized, how big they are, and how many there have to be, they're based on rain flow rates. And I won't bore you with them, but I could pull out the International Plumbing Code and show you what the rain flow rates were for St. Louis. What I'm going to tell you is that typically we always put in floor roof drains that have 4-inch, at a minimum, we put in 4-inch roof drains, okay? So I'm going to go up here and just put 4-inch NL, right? The NL and the ICs and the NH have to do with the connections. For us, it really doesn't matter. I'm just going to change them to 4-inch so they read as 4-inch. And now when I go back to section 1, you see I got roof drains here and I got roof drains here, right? But what I need to do to those roof drains on the other side, if I want to be technically right, I need to flip them, right? Because as you were seeing, the overflow is on the outside here and I want it on the inside. So how do I do that? I can just go back here, right? And I can say rotate from here 90 degrees, right? Same thing here. I can go up here, click on this one, and say rotate from here 90 degrees, or basically 180. Sorry about that. So all those two are 180 rotated. When I go back here and look, now you can see the floor drains. Let me go to the wireframe mode, save the project. And once I go to wireframe, I can see a little more detail. For some reason, this one, it says it lost its association to the face. I'm not sure why it did that, but you can see it's actually showing the dome and the slots in the dome. I'm not exactly sure why that one is doing that right now. Maybe what I'll try to do is this. I'll get rid of this one, and then maybe I'll say click here and say mirror, pick axis, and I'll pick here. And that seems to be treating that one differently for some reason. I'm not sure why, but we got it in now, and that's all that really matters. So you can put that roof drain in. And then our next step after we get that roof drain in, we're going to create another call out right here at this parapet. Now notice we haven't put a cap on our parapet. We haven't done any of that stuff yet. But what we are going to do, we see we have this overall, right, call out. We're going to need another call out up here. So how do we get those call outs? We go to view, and then we're going to go to a rectangular type call out. And I am going to just kind of fashion it like that right now. And then I will shift, pull it in a little bit, pull down some. That's going to be good right there. Then I'll take the little bubble. Whoops, let me try this again. And I'm going to pull that over off of this side, right? So there's my little bubble. And, you know, I'm going to make it a hair smaller here. I want to make sure I get to the bottom of the truss minimum. Let me turn it on hidden line right now. That's kind of what I want to see. Then I'll pull this over here. So these call outs do overlap a little, but that's okay. All right. And so now when we look at that call out, we're going to go to view, and this is what we're going to see, right? When we go to that call out, and we'll go to hidden line. And this is what we're going to do our detailing in. And one of the first things that we're going to do in this detail is we are going to go up to insert and load family. And remember, we're going to use detail items, right? So I've got to get back to my Revit Imperial libraries, right? And then I'll go to my detail items. And under detail items, I'm going to go to thermal moisture protection because that's where my roofing stuff is found. And I'm going to come up here to thermal insulation. And under there, roof and deck insulation. And look at that. I've got a cant strip up there. So I'm going to double click that cant strip. Now, where can I find it? Because if I go up here to architecture component, it still wants me to place a roof drain. Where I have to go is into my project browser, all the way down to what? To families, right? So you see here's families, and here are detail items, and under detail items, if I close some of these that we used a while back, under cant strip wooden section, I'm going to click there. It says 5.5 by 1.5. Look how I can pull that in there and place it, right? And then notice that that one that comes right from Revit, that's not quite like exactly what we're used to. But what I can do if I want to is, first of all, check and see, hey, that's a 5.5 by 1.5. Can I make an additional one? Well, look at this. If I edit type, can I go in here and say, I probably want that to be 45 degrees. So what if I say I want this thing to be a 3 by 3, right? 3 by 3. Let's see what we get when we do that. And I'm going to say I want the height to be 3, 0 space 3. And I want the width to be 0 space 3. And I say okay. And you see how I've got that. I'm not exactly where I want to be yet, but I'm getting there. You see how now if I go into this one and I have that taper at 1/4 inch, what if I put that taper at something steeper, like 1 inch? I'm getting closer to where I want to be, right? So I wanted you all to see that a lot of these families are operable and editable as details. So see, I'm getting a little closer, right? That's 2, right? What happens if I change this taper to 3? Oh, can't go further than that. So let's say 2.5. Let's see what we get. All right, that's a lot better, isn't it? That's kind of what we're looking for with the cant. But what I'm going to tell you as well is that I'm going to go in here and edit this type, and I'm going to say, let's make the height on this, maybe the height's 3 and the width is like 4. Let's see what we get when we do that. Ah, that's a little more of what we're looking for, right? So I can shift and pull it over. Whoops, I meant to stop. I can click here and align that. And that's going to be a lot better for us because now I can go in and I know I've got a 4x3, so I can rename this, and this is going to be like a 3x4, okay? And let's see if it'll let me do that 3-inch taper this time. Nope, won't let me do the 3-inch taper. I'll do 2.75. And people, stuff like this doesn't really matter all that much, but that's closer to what I'm looking for. Now, here's the truth. Because of the way how tall this is, it's possible that that's going to get taller, but for right now, let's just put it in as a cant strip that's going to be what I showed you, this 3x4 wooden cant strip that has a slope or a taper of 2 3/4 inches. That way, you see down here, it leaves a little transition so that as the membrane roof hits it, it kind of slides up. Now, here's the other thing. If I go SD on this, notice there's my TPO roof. So where does this cant strip need to go? That cant strip actually needs to move down, right? Whoops. Maybe I can align it. Let's see if I can align it. There we go. Oh, nope. That didn't work. All right, let's try just moving it up. And that's because this is a whole assembly, so it wants to align to the top of it. But I'm going to put it right there. There we go. And so now the cant strip is covering some of the membrane, and then we're going to have to physically draw the rest of it going up. But we're not going to worry about that in this video. We'll pick back up in the next video and talk some more about how we'll continue to detail this section. Okay?